Batman Caped Crusader is a brand new animated series developed by Bruce Timm. It's centered around a reimagining of the Batman mythos, focusing on a young Bruce Wayne during the early stages of his crime-fighting career in Gotham City. And my friends, I heard about a new Batman series and I had to watch it. So that's what we're talking about today. Welcome to my channel, everybody. Make sure you smash like and subscribe if you're new here, and let's waddle on in. So I just finished all 10 episodes of this show, and I'd have to say that I quite enjoyed it. Like, that finale was freaking awesome. And as for the series as a whole, I would say there is a lot of good, but there's also some bad. And so today I wanted to talk about both sides of the coin. You see what I did there? And start a conversation surrounding this show. And I'm going to start with the good. Again, overall, I would have to say I really enjoyed this series. Just having a new Batman animated series to watch is a ton of fun, but this was done very well. The talent that they cast as the voice actors was incredible. Highlights being Christina Ricci, shout out Christina Ricci as Selina Kyle, and then freaking Diedrich Bader as Harvey Dent. I had no idea that guy was going to be in this show, and such a pleasant surprise. But it also was really dark and really mature, similar in style to like X-Men 97 or the original Batman the Animated Series. As lame as it might sound, just to me, like hearing a damn it every once in a while just makes things feel a little bit more serious. It makes things feel real, if that makes sense. And another huge highlight for me is just the presence of so many villains, members of the Rogues Gallery and beyond. Every episode had a new focus and an interesting story to tell, and by the end of the episode, they wrapped up that small little story. Just like a Saturday morning cartoon, and just that nostalgia hits me so hard, man. And there was an overarching story, but it wasn't too concerned with that in each and every moment, you know what I mean? There was individual stories being told, but there was this through line just guiding through the entire thing up until that finale where everything comes together. But as for the individual stories that weren't really a part of that structure, I do want to shout out Basil Carlo. Just seeing Clayface in this show made me so incredibly happy. You had all the stuff involving like the film and theater studios and sets that they were on. You have like Batman and Clayface sword fighting at one point. It was awesome. I also think that the 1940s, 50s, 60s backdrop of this show was perfect. Like, modern day tales have modern day problems, and this show had problems that were fit to those times, you know? And there were nods to the old live action show as well. Like, this Batman was old school. And by the end, this young, early Batman existing in this world, his story really started to take shape. The style and look of Batman and this costume, and then just Gotham, it was all really iconic. I'll also mention that the detective element of Batman was on in full force here, and that's what fans want to see. More recently, it's a reason why The Batman, I feel like, works so well. It's just like the detective side of this character is something that the fans are in love with, and when you take that away, you're taking away a key element of this character. You're like taking away part of the fabric of his being, you know what I mean? And so just seeing that on display throughout each and every episode as we follow these little breadcrumbs, it almost brings a tear to my eye, man. Like, we want to see Batman investigating, stimulating crimes. The fun of the comics is the mystery, and I think that this show just nailed it. But the music was also on point, the animation style was great, and I don't know, I mean, I'd have to say that my favorite part of this show, if I had to pick a favorite thing that really spoke to me, was just the story of Harvey Dent. The through-line plot and setup of this Two-Face was very reminiscent of The Long Halloween for me, but in this, you know, it's the acid in the face, and it's very believable, the way his relationship with Barbara evolves, the way that, you know, he evolves as a character as the DA, but then you also have the way that Bruce and Harvey are friends, and you see that honest part of Bruce who's just trying to help, you know, everybody's just trying to help Harvey, and Harvey really takes that turn in the end. He's a really solid character when done right, and I'm just happy to see that he was done right in this. Also, the look of Two-Face was like terrifying, man. But yeah, that's a lot of the good. Also, I will say really quickly, Joker showing up at the end? Like, guys, come on. Chef's kiss, man. Like, let them cook. Let's go. He's making people laugh to death. People are like, like they're just like laughing until they die. Oh my gosh, man. Mind blown. I cannot wait for the second season to see where that goes. Also to see who the voice actor is for Joker. I don't know. That I didn't see anything about that, so very curious. But as for the bad, I'll say there really are just a few things. A couple of small nitpicks that are very much subjective to the individual. So what I'm saying is, like, when I'm talking about the bad here, I'm very much talking about my opinions, not so much like the writing was bad or the performances were bad, because I really thought that this show was created at an extremely high caliber with a lot of passion. Like, you can tell that a lot of energy went into this thing. The stuff that I didn't like were purely just that, just things that I didn't like. And this first one is something that could easily be lowered down to the level of like toxic conversation with the everything is woke crowd or the everything is racist crowd. And if you know me, that's really not my vibe. I'm just honest. Like, this is just my honest opinion. And you know, I just was very thrown off by Lady Penguin because I just don't understand it. I don't understand why they would do that and where they were coming from. I think it's necessary to have representation, but when it comes to gender swapping iconic characters, it just seems pointless to me. I don't know. To me, it just seems easier to create a new badass female character. You don't need to give us Lady Oz because, like, Oz is Oz. I looked into it a little bit, and awesome actress, Minnie Driver, who plays the character, she said this. She said she's a very new character that so fits in the Batman au revoir. It's a great reimagining. It's amazing, as a lot of times today we're trying to redress the balance of representation, and you sometimes feel that things have been shoehorned in. It's more performative than organic. And I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with her, because to me, it did feel shoehorned in. This was the very beginning of this series. It was like the opening of this series, and it's like, hey, look at what we're doing. Look at what this series is. And I'm not a girl who's a fan of Batman, and so I have no idea from that perspective how this felt. Maybe this was a phenomenal thing. Also, maybe there are a lot of fans out there that just absolutely loved this. Maybe it's a big hit for a lot of people. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. I'd love to see some comments about this and just to see how generally a lot of people are feeling about it. For me, it was more of a miss, and it distracted me from the first episode, from wanting to like dive into this new series. Like, I was excited to dive into this series, and then that immediately kind of hits you and you're like, oh, okay, Penguin's, okay, we're doing that with the Penguin. This is a little bit different with the character, all right. But the next thing that I wasn't all about was very much just personal taste again, and that was Hamish Linklater as Bruce Wayne in Batman. Can I get used to it for several more seasons? Absolutely. But do I miss Conroy? Yes, I do. Rest in peace. I really do, man. This Batman just wasn't quite convincing and menacing enough. You know, by the end, he came around, but it took me much longer than I thought it would to kind of like cling on to this character and be along for the ride. The entire time I was watching, at least the first like 5 episodes or so, I was just kind of like, man, I'm not all the way there with especially the Batman performance. And I love Hamish Linklater, man. Midnight Mass is one of my favorites from the last 5 years. He's a phenomenal actor, and you know, he's going to be sticking around for a while. I'd imagine this gets a second and third and fourth season probably, so just gonna have to get used to it. But then lastly, and this is a really small nitpick, but Harley Quinn. The voice just isn't what I want with the character. It just wasn't the Harley Quinn that I know, and so it kind of took me out of things. I enjoyed her feature episode of the character, and I did enjoy seeing her as a therapist with Bruce early on, but when it came time to see her in the costume and just like ready to go nuts, she was so calm and collected, and I think she was trying to play it up in a very sinister way, but it didn't come across as that. To me, it came across as just kind of like not caring, just like so nonchalant. But with the introduction of Mr. J in the end of the season, you know, maybe that'll change in the future. I'm open to it. I'm open to it. But those are just my honest feelings after 10 episodes, and just like any other TV show or movie, I do want to give this my Jones Vibe star rating. And my friends, I'm giving Batman Caped Crusader 4 out of 5 stars, no doubt. It was a great show, man, and I can't wait for season 2. But please, at this point, go down in the comments and let me know all of your thoughts on this series. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were your favorite parts? What were your least favorite parts? I'd love to read all of your comments. I appreciate every single one that you leave, and I read every single one that you leave. Also, my friends, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And more than anything, make sure to keep up the good vibes. But that's it for today, my friends. Peace!